When we think of learning, we often think of our time at school. With all the reports, all the assignments, all the work we put in just to get that gold star and get the grade to succeed. But learning isn't limited to the classroom. We're learning all the time in our daily lives, when we're at work or at home, with our friends and our family. An example of learning in the real world is when one learns to cook. Cooking is a skill we can develop by using concepts from learning theory. The first thing a new cook needs to have is a growth mindset. The growth mindset has been determined by researcher Carol Dweck as the learner believing their skills can develop through effort and struggle, and that they can grow from their mistakes. Having a growth mindset when cooking is good when you first start. No one is born a 5-star chef, and not everything turns out right the first time. When a new cook has a growth mindset, they're not discouraged by burned or bad-tasting dishes. Instead, they think of what they need to change so they do better in their next attempt. This leads us to the next learning concept, which is Vygotski's theory of the zone of proximal development. This is when you determine what you can do on your own already and what you still need assistance with until your ability improves. In his theory, Vygotsky also mentions the use of scaffolds when learning in the zone of proximal development. Scaffolds are tools or supports that are utilized and gradually removed over time until new skills and abilities are fully mastered. Things you can use when you're learning in your zone of proximal development is referring to recipes when working on complex dishes, or asking more experienced cooks for advice or to guide you. A new cook will usually need to have a recipe and a guide when first cooking until they master basic cooking skills. Once they know these skills, they will only need to refer to a recipe. Then, with more practice and experience, the recipe will eventually be unneeded as well. So as we can see, when learning to cook, the learner needs to have a growth mindset and work in their zone of proximal development with appropriate scaffolds to be successful. If they can do this, then they can apply these learning concepts to other tasks and become a lifelong learner.
Created using Powtoon.